If you're looking for a super affordable intake for your 2011 through 2019 V6 Challenger at home that will also pack a whole bunch of flash, well then this might just be the option for you. The SR Performance Polish intake that we have here today will be one of the most affordable in the category for your 3.6 at home, and will also be a direct bolt-on, no tune required intake that can be had for right around that $180 price point. So let's just cut right to the chase and call this thing what it is, and that is a budget-friendly or entry-level intake. Now with that being said, it's certainly not going to have some of the more elaborate features, if you will, of the more expensive options, such as a fancy sealed airbox or maybe a rotomolded plastic intake tube with brand names stamped all over it. Instead, this system from SR is essentially as bare bones as it gets. However, it is one of only a handful of options or intakes in the category that is currently going to deliver that brightly polished finish, and again, it is one of the most affordable. So it's certainly a great option for Challenger owners out there who want that under hood bling, but don't necessarily need the big brand name attached to it like you would find with some other options that will be far more expensive. Now what you guys are receiving here outside of that polished aluminum intake tube is the reusable high flow oiled filter, along with all of your couplers, heat shield, and hardware needed to get everything in place. Now the heat shield here is going to help in blocking out some of your hot engine bay air from entering the filter itself, but ultimately guys, if you want a true cold air intake, well then going with a sealed enclosure will really be the only way to achieve that. Now at the time of this video guys, the SR option is not currently CARB certified, but again, I do want to remind you, you can bolt this thing up and go without the need for any custom or can tuning, which is always a big thing to point out. Now outside of that, once it's installed, what kind of benefits can you expect? Well, obviously the aesthetics, for those of you interested in the flash of the nice polished finish, of course, but also some other things such as increased throttle response is a biggie. Definitely a big time increase in sound coming from under the hood. And then finally guys, a small bump in both horsepower and torque. Now typically something like this without the use of any tuning results in high single digit, low double digit gains. Nothing too crazy without the use of a tune, but certainly gains to be had just the same. But now comes the time in the video where we want to shift gears and just show you what it takes to get everything installed on your 3.6 at home. And I always like to point out that intakes like this are a great place to start modding, even if you have limited mechanical knowledge, because they are very easy, very straightforward to bolt up. So therefore, site's going to call this a solid 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, at least 30 minutes to get in place from start to finish, using nothing more than a few basic hand tools. Guys, we're talking a few screwdrivers here, maybe even a socket set. But now we actually have an American Muscle customer to walk you through the job. Check it out.
So the tools used in today's install will be a flathead screwdriver, a ratchet, a nut driver, a 10mm socket, a 13mm, a 5/16 or 8mm, and a 9/16 socket. So on the first step, you're going to be removing the negative from the battery in the back, located in the back of the vehicle, in the trunk under this flap. And then you're going to use a 10mm socket with the ratchet and loosen this bolt. Once it's loosened, it's either going to come out, or you might need a flathead screwdriver and to pry this open. And it should just come straight up. That's the first step. Step number 2 is taking off the engine cover. Next, we're gonna remove the IAT sensor from the tube, and we're gonna loosen this bolt on the throttle body. So once we get to this connector, we're gonna turn counterclockwise and pull out. Next, we get a flathead, or you can use the socket as well, and turn it. It should loosen up. Step 4, we're gonna remove the hose from the airbox, and with the 5/16 socket, we're gonna remove this bolt holding the airbox in. Next, we're gonna remove the factory intake system. It should just come right off. Next, remove the O-ring from the IAT sensor. It should be a little green one. It should just pop off with the flathead. So from the stock intake, we're gonna remove the intake plenum mount grommet from the intake plenum. So it should be right here, and you just pull out. Step 6, we're gonna install the grommet removed on step 5 into the supplied bracket that comes in the box. So it just slide easily on like that. Step 7, we're gonna install the supplied grommet that comes in the box into the intake tube. Step 8 is to dress the heat shield with the plastic coverings. So we already cut them to length, and we're just applying them now. You could cut them with a razor blade or scissors, and they should just pop right in. They go along all the edges. Step 10 is to install the rubber insert and the hole located on the inner fender. Go straight in like that to just hold in place. Next, we're going to install our heat shield into our inner fender. So we just put it in. And then we're going to use our factory bolt that came with it and just tighten it up with it's an 8mm. And we're going to use, there's 2 bolts that come in the box. You're gonna need the longer, fatter one, and it's gonna go into where you put the hole. I mean, where you put the plastic part. And that's a 13mm to tighten it. Next, we're gonna get our bracket with the grommet and put it on this mounting stud. Should just pop right in. Next, get this reducer coupler and put a clamp on it and just attach it to the throttle body, but do not tighten it yet. Do not tighten the clamp. Just stay here like that. Next, we're gonna get our velocity stacker and another coupler and put a clamp on it as well. And we're gonna put it on the heat shield. Just like that. Push it all the way in, put the clamp and tighten it down. Next, we're gonna get our straight intake tube and a clamp, and we're gonna connect it to the coupler. So we put the clamp first, leave it loose, and we get our straight intake tube, and we have to make sure that the valve is closest to the heat shield, the little small valve sticking out, and we connect it to the coupler. It's pretty tight, but it should go in. Next, we're gonna get the flex coupler and 2 clamps. And we're gonna, on one side, we're gonna put 1 clamp and we're gonna tighten it down to the straight intake tube. And the other side, we're gonna put another clamp, but we're not gonna tighten it yet. So we're gonna tighten this side, the flathead, or a Phillips. On the other side, we're just gonna place a clamp there. Next, we're gonna get our second intake tube and another clamp and connect it to the other side of the coupler that's on the throttle body and just connect it. It should just slide right in. Now we connect our IED sensor back into our intake tube, and now we're gonna connect the remaining bolt onto this clamp with the washer connected, and fasten it down with the 9/16 socket. Next, we get our plastic pipe. And we get the small clamp, connect the clamp to the pipe, connect it to the tighten it down with the flathead. And we connect the other side to the hose. Make sure it's pushed all the way in. And it should fit exactly like that. The last step is to get the air filter, the big clamp, and a nut driver with the 5/16 socket and connect it to the other side of the coupler. Next, we reinstall the engine cover.
But wrapping things up here, guys, again, the SR Performance Intake is gonna be the most affordable option on the site for your Challenger while delivering some visual flash at the same time. And of course, you can grab yours right here at AmericanMuscle.com.